Now, Nope wasn't what I was expecting in Jordan Peele's third movie, but was it bad? Welcome back in, everybody. Today we are talking about Nope, and this is going to be a review of the movie. Now, I'm going to try to keep it spoiler-free if you have not seen the movie yet, because it's still out in theaters. But I'm going to run down what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, and generally if it is good or not. Now, I've seen some stuff where people just didn't like it, and I've seen some stuff where people really did like it. I've never really seen the middle right now, and that's kind of where I stand at. Before we get started, we do have a brand new Etsy shop that's up called Basement Horrors. If you go to Etsy and search for Basement Horrors, you will see all the awesome prints we have up. We have 8.5 by 11 prints of some super cool, awesome movie posters for you guys to buy and hang up and decorate your rooms with, including this Japanese Army of Darkness one. It is awesome. It has Bruce Campbell right there. Has a really cool design here. And we also have up there a Japanese Hereditary one. There's a bunch of awesome posters on there, so go grab one. I will leave the link in the description below. And back to the review. Like I was saying, I kind of sit in the middle with this movie, and it wasn't what I was really expecting, you know. I really liked Get Out. I thought Get Out was really good. I thought it was a very good horror movie, but I also found it as a really good comedic movie. And I think that Get Out is probably his best film out of all three movies. Us was pretty good. Us was awesome. I think Us had a little bit more of the horror elements we wanted. That wasn't in Get Out. I think it was a little bit more serious, a little bit more horror, and I thought it was really good. You know, is Nope good? And that's the question I've seen across the internet on tons of videos, on tons of reviews. Is this a good movie? And when I look back on it, watching it, yes, I can say, yes, this is a good movie. The cinematography is awesome. The story is awesome. The characters are really cool. It is a beautifully shot film. But it did not capitalize on some of the stuff that I wanted it to. Going into it, I really expected it to be his most horrific film, his most horror-based film. You know, when we talk about aliens, and it looked from the trailer like there was going to be quite a bit of alien interaction in this, and realistically, you don't see the aliens at all. So this is where I'm going to get into what I didn't like about the movie. Yes, this is going to be a storytelling movie, which I usually like, but like I said, it does not capitalize on the horror elements of what Jordan Peele can do. Now, do I believe it's a horror movie? No, I think it is sort of a horror movie, but I would more put it in a sci-fi kind of thriller movie. It really felt like you were watching kind of a 70s alien movie, almost like Close Encounters. It felt that way. It felt very mysterious and made you think a lot, just like how Close Encounters makes you feel. Now, that's not bad at all. I love Close Encounters. It's an awesome alien movie and one of my favorite sci-fi movies. But for this film particularly, I was not expecting it to be that way. I was expecting it to be more horror along the lines of like Signs, which is one of my favorite alien movies as well. But it turned out to not be that way. It was more character-based and more about, you know, what is going on with this family and how it is affecting them that this alien or this ship is around them. Now, another thing I really didn't like very much was it wasn't as on the nose as most Jordan Peele movies. Now, me personally, and if anybody knows me, you know that I love movies I have to think about. I have to really dig deep into my brain and really figure out what's going on in that movie and what the symbolism is. And I got that with this movie. You know, I really did. You know, it's about Hollywood and kind of the obsession in Hollywood to be famous or be in front of the camera, but it's also about kind of, you know, what are we willing to sell out in return for fame or money? You know, are you willing to sell out kind of, you know, your moral values, or are you willing to sell out, you know, your family to be able to be famous and to be able to be in front of the camera and say, look, this is who we are. And, you know, I got that through the movie. I really did. But when it comes to Jordan Peele movies, I kind of like that it's on the nose. I like that I'm like, hey, this is exactly what this is about. And it took a little bit of thinking for me to understand that that's what they were going for. And the problem there was it wasn't good enough of a movie for you to be able to just understand what was going on throughout the movie without understanding the symbolism. Without understanding the symbolism, it kind of felt jumbled in certain parts. I mean, if you've seen the movie, you know the whole parts with like the chimpanzee and everything like that, and it just kind of feels jumbled and mixed into this pot, and it's really, really hard to really understand it unless you start to realize, oh, this is what they're talking about. Outside of those two things, everything else I pretty much liked. OJ was an awesome front character. I really liked him. He was really, really convincing on the feelings and the emotion that he was having through this entire thing, how scared he was after what happened to his father. And I love that. I love the characters in this movie. I like the dialogue in this movie. It feels real. It almost feels like an M. Night Shyamalan movie, even though I said it doesn't feel like Signs as far as horror. It does sort of feel like an M. Night movie as far as like dialogue goes, because the dialogue does feel real. It doesn't feel like it's scripted or actors doing it. It does feel like real back and forth between the characters. And that's what I like. Also, like the cinematography, just what I said, it was a beautiful, beautiful movie. The cinematography was amazing. Some of the shots were amazing. It was grand. It was big. Jordan Peele was not lying when he said this was going to be his biggest film as far as like shooting wise. It was massive. Some of the shots with the ship and the characters and just the grand scale of the difference between the two was phenomenal. And some of the action shots were crazy good, better than some regular action movies I have ever seen, and this isn't even an action movie. So this is where I sit on the fence, because as much as I wanted a horror film for his third film, he has already done 2 horror movies, and I would expect him to move on and try to dabble in some other things. But also at the same time, you know, I kind of wanted that for the third film. So I'm on the fence on whether it's good or not. I do think it's good, but I think there are things in it that could be better, or things that I would have preferred. Overall, though, I think it's a good movie, and I believe that most people who will see it will think it's a good movie. But at the same time, there are some people who are skeptical, like myself, who would have rather it been a straight horror film. But at the same time, I do understand Jordan Peele's direction, and in no way at all is this movie bad. So if you haven't yet, go check out Nope. It's still in theaters, and let me know how you feel about it in the comments below. If you liked it, if you hated it, if you thought it was just okay like I did. Make sure to like and subscribe also, and like I said before, in the description I will leave the link to our new Etsy page so you guys can go grab some of those really awesome prints I showed you. Until next time, Basement Horrors here, and we will be back with another movie review.